Hello, 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 guys. It is Queen Jamila. Hello, Queen Jamila, aka High Priestess Jamila. Coming at you guys with some food for thought. Okay. And this is okay. So, when it comes to court cases, whether or not you were wrong, the other person was wrong, usually there is a certain amount of wrongness on one side. Sometimes it can be you were 0% wrong, and sometimes you can be 50% wrong. Sometimes you can be 25% wrong, and the other person could be 75% wrong. So, this is how spirit judges on legal cases. And I do quite a few legal cases for people. Shout out to my clients that I've done legal cases for. I have had a 100% success rate on my legal cases. Well, I'll say 99.9%. There was this other case, but it's a special case. And I still know for a fact that that case is going to be the best thing for my client. Okay. So, when it comes to legal cases and when it comes to that, the first thing that you have to do is that when you seek out work for something that involves legal matters, you have to have faith and trust. Okay, you do. Because when you go and you pay a practitioner, you are basically paying a debt. And a lot of the things, even back in the Bible, people, when they committed crimes, they could just pay for the debt, that, and it would be over. It would be squashed. It would be smashed. Okay. But things can be a lot more complicated when you're thinking about legal cases. So that's the first thing. You have to have faith in your practitioner. The second thing is that you have to live and stand in your rights and your power in the situation. Now, we have laws of the land. We have spiritual laws that we have to consider. And then also in different states, the law is different. So it's very important whenever you get into a legal matter for you to do research on the case, for you to see what your rights are in the situation. This is going to be the leg that you're going to stand on. This is going to be a part of your root chakra. This is going to be a part of your ability to protect your energy. This is going to be reminiscent of your backbone, of how much respect you have for yourself and self respect. Okay. So, for example, I have had people emailing me, texting me about bad landlords, and don't ever listen to the chaos, because the chaos that is there is to make you feel as though you don't have rights. So a person that is trying to do you wrong, they're not going to tell you about your rights. That's why they always have the police read you your Miranda rights. And if they don't, they're going to have a problem. If they don't read you your rights, if they arrest you and take you to jail, they're going to have some issues and some karma, okay, based upon spiritual law. So I actually specialize in court cases. I have actually sued a couple of different parties, and one was settled out of court, and the other one was settled in court. So this is something that I know a lot about. I do not fold for people ever. If it is a legal matter and I know my rights and I know what my spirits are telling me, there's nothing that you ever have to worry about, especially when it comes to landlord tenant. Your landlord can kick and scream and throw a temper tantrum all they want. But honey, they're going to have to follow those laws as well as those spiritual laws, which guarantees and grants your case being settled in fairness. So, for example, if you have a landlord that doesn't fix anything, if you're in the state of Georgia, see, some states just let landlords get away with anything, but Georgia has a law called repair and deduct. That means that if your landlord does not fix things, you can actually um, pay for it to be fixed yourself and then deduct that from your rent. I'm pretty sure that a lot of landlords here in Georgia hate that law, but it is the law. You have to stand in your power when it comes to court cases and when it comes to legal matters. You can't ever for 1 second believe that this person has the right to get over on you, because we know that even in today's society, they would love to just get over women any way that they can, but that's not fair to do that. So this is where the spiritual work comes in, settles the situation in your favor. And it depends on what kind of legal situation you got going on. But it will settle the situation in your favor, in particular, if you go somewhere to pay the debt. Okay. So for me, this is what I got to tell you. Right now, I'm involved with a landlord tenant dispute. No, I am not being evicted. No, my landlord cannot do anything to me. Protected not only from the law, but from my spirits. Okay. And you can't just be in fear and be subservient to people. Okay. Not only that, I have held a real estate license, so I know a lot about this stuff. You have to know rights. When you stand on your rights and you stand on that sense of self that says this person does not have the right, that is where 50% of your case is going to come from. To be honest with you, a lot of times they don't have the right to hold you in a prison cell for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So I've actually even worked on criminal cases for people, but mine's mainly go to family law, lawsuits, and probably liability. You do not have to bend over backwards and kiss the butt of somebody out of fear. For some reason, people seem to have that issue. They seem to walk in fear every single day. And see, this has something to do with your root chakra. If you don't have no spine or no backbone, you ain't gonna never be able to stand up for yourself and say, hey, listen, you're not gonna do this. In particular, those of you, I had a client that sent me a picture of raw sewage coming up out of her freaking tub. Okay, landlord taking forever to fix it. What if they refuse to fix it? What if they say, oh, I'm gonna BS and mess around for as long as possible and I'm not going to fix it? Well, you know what? Then you can say, hey, first of all, I'm not going to live under these conditions. You're going to already be prepared to walk away from the situation. But then if you feel the need to, you can do what you got to do, protect yourself from that person that is trying to take advantage of you. And then also later on, you can take that said person to court. I actually had to take a landlord to court when I was in Kansas. Caused a very high water bill. Look, when you're renting, that's not my house. This ain't my house. I don't have to bear the burden of something that I don't own. Because when you own a land site, you own that, you own all the spirits that come with it, and you are responsible for them. So it was funny how I saw one of my naysayers saying, oh, her ship is sinking. No, my landlord's house is falling apart. I have the option of walking away at any moment. And I've never had a problem putting a roof over my head. So when you stand in your power and then you also understand how spirit works with that, a lot of these landlords, they want to make their problems your problems, which is why you do have to be extremely careful. I've been having people contact me right and left, that are going through similar situations. It's only temporary, and a lot of the times, when it comes down to that, a lot of these landlords, they don't care about your personal health. They don't care about your safety. They just want that rent money. What's up, Dovey? How you doing, sweetie? They want that rent money. They don't care if the house is falling apart around you, and literally that's not your fault. That's this their house. Their spirits reside over this house. You're just leasing it. In fact, this is one of the reasons why a lot of people own their own homes. But even before you own a home, you need to find out the history of the land, and you need to see if it's any negative spirits in it or around it. So I actually have a lot of people that come to me when they're making a decision and buying a home or even renting. Um, you can't always alleviate trouble. That's not what witchcraft is for. You can eliminate you being affected by somebody else's disaster. But if it's your own disaster, then that's one thing. Okay. So this goes with anything. This goes with any case that you have. That's just like if somebody runs up to you and starts beating the crap out of you and you ain't did nothing to them, and you fight them back, and you clonk them over the head with something hard, and they end up really, really hurt. Well, guess what? They call that self-defense. And a lot of times people have to beat self-defense cases. You can be just defending yourself. But you always have to understand and connect with spirit. Everybody don't have that spirit, which is why they don't experience anything and they don't go through anything. They don't do anything because they know that they're going to have to deal with adversity. They're going to have to deal with sometimes having a landlord and tenant dispute. It's a part of life when you're renting out places. You don't automatically lose just because your landlord, is doing things above and against the law. A lot of them do. As long as you know the law and you know your rights, please explain to me, what would you need to worry about? Then also, you don't have to always take responsibility for other people's bad energy. Mm-hmm. Not even about it being raggedy, Cora. It's about the fact that the landlord just didn't take care of it. He, when he fixes stuff, he fixes it very cheaply. He, doesn't really know how to do the repairs, but he does it, and it's not very quality. You know what I'm saying? So, and that is a temporary situation. Then you got landlords that are like that, instead of them using spiritual work to expand their knowledge of taking better care of their homes, they want to use spiritual work to try to trap you in a situation that you don't want. So, when you start to fight back and you say, hey, these are my rights, I'm not going to let you violate my rights, and you stand in that, what do you have to worry about? Now, I personally, for me, yeah, I do want to own my own land, but I'm going to be very careful about that land that I buy, because whatever happened in this house when he purchased it as the owner is his problem. In fact, when you got a tenant that moves in, those spirits supposed to move out. They ain't supposed to be bothering the tenant. I don't own this property. I'm not benefiting from this property in any way. I'm just paying to rent. Y'all should go look at the latest They put in a subliminal message in the movie Amityville, the most not the most recent one because there was another one, but the Amityville with the family and the mother and the husband. Uh, if you notice in that movie, when the pastor or the preacher or the reverend, whatever they call him, the father, when he was pulling out from the property, it said RNT, meaning rent. So that was a subliminal message about, you need to be careful about buying these houses. Never know. But yeah, definitely raggedy spirits, and then also, just general bad luck and bad juju sometimes. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't have to affect you. So it was kind of funny that somebody was saying, some about a sheep, a shanking. And I said, well, that I don't own this house. So it's kind of the beauty of renting. But since a lot of people don't like to take responsibility, then they like to put their stuff off on other people. Okay. So I say all this to say that any legal matter that I step into, I always win one way or the other. When somebody is being unfair and unjust, spirit is already there waiting for you. But if unfair and unjust things continuously happen to you, then that means that you have a spiritual debt. That's what that means. Now, again, you want to go by the laws in your state, and then you also want to go by what your spirits, where they are leading you. Sometimes you got to do stuff to shake stuff up so that you can get to where you're going. Because I'm going to tell you, my landlord kind of was trying to trap me in this house. So actually the way going is confirmation. Very, very weak and weak-willed people will always have something negative to say. And for me, I'm not going to pay no landlord to not do his job. That's why I'm paying you to do your job. That's why you're paying rent. If I owned this house, then it would be my responsibility to take care of the stuff. And I don't. So there it is. That's the whole point of you paying rent. What makes you think that you deserve rent when you're not doing your job? So, so yeah, and really it's not even a legal thing at all. It's 100% already in my favor, just simply because the house is not up to code. Is that my problem? Nope. It can rub off on me, you know what I'm saying? While I'm here, but once I go, and I'm not going to abandon all my things and my property, which is what a lot of landlords would love for you to do. No, I have to get movers and everything. So, you know, yeah. Hey, Amethyst Dream. So know your rights and stand in those rights. Stand in those rights 24/7, even when you got court coming up. Don't worry about your cases. When you have already paid that debt, and because I do work with my aunt when it comes to legal matters. They used to tell me that I should have been an attorney because I knew how to argue a point and I knew how to articulate myself. So when you stand in that knowledge of self, the knowledge of the law, and then also when you yourself when you internally know, then you don't have nothing to worry about. I did, when I first saw the problem come up with my landlord, I did work. Same day they scheduled the inspection to come out here and take a look at the mold, and then after that there was no arguing. There's no other things to say about it, to be honest with you. That's the whole point of being a renter, is the fact that you can go and come anytime you want, or you can go. Your landlord is going to have to be stuck with that problem because it's their home that they purchased. Okay. So, same thing goes for any kind of case, whether or not you're facing jail time, whether or not you're doing anything. Um, and it does go according to, but you do have to pay the debt. If you don't pay it, then I can't guarantee it. Because I've had a couple of people contacting me about court case. And I told you guys there would be no 3-day notice delivered or anything because that is against the law. Okay, this is not poker that we're playing. This is not play a wild card today and tomorrow. If your tenant gives notice to vacate, you can't turn around and say, "No, you're not gonna vacate. I'm gonna evict you." And then and if you're covered under my spirits, they definitely ain't gonna let that happen. Okay, people can talk, and walk, and wah. They can do all that wah, crying. But at the end of the day, your threats will never, ever take flight. And that's just the reality of it. When you stand strong in that, and then also when you decide, okay, I'm making a move, and that person says, no, I want to try to stop you. Well, sorry, you can't do that. So, knowing that, and knowing, because when you move out of a place, I'm so sensitive. To me, it's like a death. It's like cutting the cord to that place. It's like, because there's spirits everywhere. And those spirits tend to get to know you, and, sometimes you have to make offerings to spirits in these houses and stuff that you move into. Okay. So, there's a lot of things that can be handled and dealt with when you are right with the spirits. So that's what all the spirits are about. People want to talk about spirits, spirits, spirits. Spirits is energy, as well as your helpers, your angels, your guiders. These are the entities or the spirits that go out to do your bidding. Okay. So that, they can be many, many different things, and they carry a little bit of energy with them. Well, not a little bit, they carry a lot of energy within them. Okay. Depending on what they are doing. But, especially when it comes to somebody that has the upper hand. Okay. That's when you have to go and do the spiritual law of protection and attraction, and say injustice, and say, no, we're going to have justice on this situation because it's been a long time coming. And you got to pay attention to it as well. You can't just ignore it. Otherwise, you'll end up losing money. You'll end up losing time. You'll end up losing happiness. I think after my landlord said some crazy stuff to me, I did that spell work, and then pow, was right back where I belong. Right back on my own track, on my path. So a legal situation, that of which you've already taken care of with the spirits, should never block your path at all, because you have to keep going. You have to keep going. You have to keep pressing. You have to keep moving. And you have to keep it moving. No landlord has the power to make you homeless either. None. They don't have that power. A lot of people will have a negative situation go on with somebody, whether or not they're a landlord or somebody that you're living with. They don't have the power to make you homeless. Only you had the power to do that. So I don't want to hear nobody talking about, oh, my landlord was bad and did this, this, and that to me. Now, if your landlord was just totally against the law and came over and just decided to start moving your stuff out without a court order, then there's a problem. This is the reason why we have the courts set up around that. So somebody starts to touch, somebody starts to overstep their boundaries, then that can be a problem. But other than that, if you right with your spirits, they not going to be able to do that. So that decision is not in their hands just because your landlord is mad. But see, there's a lot of people that would give people that power over them. They would give their landlord that power over them. Well, you never give them that power over you. Because, yeah, if it's a nasty, disgusting, scummy landlord, yeah, they would love, just because they're selfish and they don't want to see anybody else get that rent, or they don't want to see you flourish. They don't want to see you move up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying all this to say, live within your power, live within your truth, do the best that you can. If you have done the best that you can and you're dealing with people that can't even admit when they wrong, y'all, I'm so happy that I am moving out of this house. It is just a dream come true. I can see the rainbow. I am so happy that every single time I have a maintenance issue, I don't have to meet somebody with an attitude. Every single time the landlord would have to fix anything, he would have an attitude. Even my children noticed it and they didn't like it. So a landlord that hates repairs and hates replacing stuff, he just doesn't want to take responsibility. Even though your landlord can be making thousands of dollars per year off of the property that they are renting to you, that you are paying for. And it's true to the saying that you truly do get what you pay for. So that's, this is one of the you know what, when I found out the laws in Georgia, it made me love Georgia and even more. Because why would you pay for destruction? I'm not going to pay. Am I going to pay for that? Ain't nobody else going to pay for it either. So you don't pay to stay somewhere that is bad, and you don't have to pay your rent over here in Georgia. Now, in other states, it's different. Ain't that might be the reason why I came over here, because, I'm renting for a little while longer, but that's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. You know what I'm saying? So, and when you pay for disaster and destruction, that's what you're going to get. It's all a part of the law of attraction. So, your landlord doesn't have the power to make you homeless or kick you out in the streets and pack up your stuff, get you a truck, and go to another place. That would be my suggestion. But for a lot of people, it's not that simple. They're stuck, they're scared, they don't know what to do. That is when you probably need to come and speak with somebody, because some of these landlords can be bullies, and some of us are renting because we are working on our credit. Some people are just not ready to settle on a location. People are renting for several different reasons. Okay. So it can be many, many different reasons why you're doing that at that moment. But just keep yourself right with the spirits is what you have to do. And things will be settled in your favor. If you guys need to reach me for court cases, because I feel like, because I've been getting a lot of people contact me about court cases and stuff, and it's a sign that, we need to bring out some more of that energy, because there's a lot of people that are just so low and feel so bad about themselves that they would be okay with living in a house with mold in it. Well, you've got a contract with your landlord that says that you have the right to rent the property as long as they keep it up to safety codes and health codes. You know, unless I was paying $100 a month to live here, because I've seen people that had to live in a house filled with sewage. So I can honestly say that my living conditions are a lot better than other people's. Those are the choices and the decisions that they make. You have the right to make your choices and your decisions in your life. When you start giving people that kind of power over you, then there is a problem. Okay. So if you guys need to reach me, the link is below. I am very strong on them court cases and I'm ready to do some more. I'm ready to get my hands dirty a little bit. So you guys know where to reach me. The link to my website is below. Make sure that you guys hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Love and light.